Then the pH of the pond should be between 5 and 9. It should not be acidic. It should not be highly acidic at all. It should be near neutral, around neutral. Then the surface temperature of the water should be between 21 degrees Celsius and 32 degrees Celsius. It should not be too hot. Another way to maintain a fish pond is to control pests and diseases. So you should maintain adequate stocking and application of necessary drugs like malachite green, copper sulfate, and the rest. So you control pests and diseases. Then add manures and fertilizers moderately to encourage the growth of plankton and make food available for your fishes. But at the same time, make sure they don't suffocate the fishes or overcrowd them. Regular harvesting should also be done in order to avoid overcrowding. Once they are matured enough, they reach the market size, don't keep them there. Just go and sell them and get some money. So when you do regular harvesting, you prevent overcrowding, you prevent cannibalism. Once they are just there, they don't have, maybe you are not feeding them well again, or they are just idle, they are old, all of them, they are mature enough, they start eating themselves, and that is lost on the farmer's part. So to avoid cannibalism, which is an animal, the fish eating another fish, make sure you do your harvesting as and when due. Then regular harvesting will also prevent outbreak of disease and starvation. So those are the things that regular harvesting will do for you. Now I'll move on to talk about fishery regulations and laws. You don't just get into any water and fish and say, oh, I want to go fishing, I just had a class on fishing, so this is very interesting, I just want to go and fish. No, there are rules and regulations that guide fishing, just as we have in forestry. You should cut down tree. When you are caught, you have to pay for it. So the rules and regulations now. Fishing regulations and laws are a set of rules that governs exploitation and other practices of fishery resources, especially in open access water. The law is to control and protect fish harvesting so that fishes don't go into extinction, and then for there to be regular supply of such fishes from time to time. You know, the world is experiencing endangered species now. Animals are going into extinction. And what is extinction? When you don't have an animal again. Imagine you don't find goats again, or you just, in the whole of your environment, you find only one goat, or you don't have cattle again. Maybe you have a few, and some people are still going to catch a few. Very soon your children will not know what cows are because they didn't meet them. That's what extinction is all about. So we are guiding against such. That is why there are rules in place. If not, everybody will just get into the bush, kill any animal, cut down any tree, and at the end of the day we are left with nothing. So that is why the regulations and laws are put in place. The Fishery Regulation Decree was first promulgated in 1971 under the General Yakubu Gowon's regime. So that was done in 1971, and these are the rules that was put in place then. The first is this: no vessel except canoes shall fish within the first 2 nautical miles of the territorial waters of the Nigerian continental shelf. So we don't just allow any vessel to fish in the first 2 of the nautical miles of the territorial waters. So you don't just come to Nigeria and come and fish with any other thing. And you don't just, even bringing canoes, you don't just come anyhow. You have to go through some processes. Then the next one is that no person shall operate or navigate any motor fishing boat with the territorial waters of Nigeria unless a license in respect of that vessel has been issued. So it's like a follow-up of the first one. Even if you have your canoe to fish, or there is a vessel you are bringing, it has to be licensed. You must have a license to do that. The next one is that no fishing is permitted to take place for a given period of time. That period is called the closed season. So this time allows for the small fishes to grow and mature. You know, if everybody just coming to harvest, even though when the fishes are 4 weeks, people come to harvest it at 6 weeks, they come. Before you know it, there will be nothing in that water again. So there is a time we call the closed season where nobody is allowed to fish, so that the fish can grow and mature. Then the next regulation is that there is what we call a catch quota. That is, a fisherman is allowed to catch a specific quantity of fish. When you go to the open waters, not your pond now that you have, like the open water, the sea and the ocean or rivers that we have fish is there. You don't just go there and say, oh, I really need money and I need to get some fish to the market to sell, and you go there to pack 500 fishes, or go and pack 500,000, just pack as many as one. No, there is a required or a specific quantity that has been laid out, that nobody catches more than this specified numbers. Then the next law is that there is a mesh size regulation. That is, there is a particular size of net that you can use. We have, just like your sieve at home, there are various sizes of those mesh. The mesh is the square in the net, and the bigger the net, the bigger the fishes it will catch. When you have small nets, even though small nets will still catch big fish, but it will catch small fishes too, because when you have a big mesh, small fish will escape the net. So that is why there is a required, you don't just bring a tiny mesh to the open water to come and harvest fish. No, there is a required size of net that you are permitted to bring in, so as to make sure that the fishes you harvest with such nets, they are just mature fishes. Then the next one is regular stocking. You don't just harvest. You have to put back, because if you don't put back, that is, you stock the river, there will be no more fish when everybody comes to harvest and nobody is stocking. So that's why there is a time that we had compatible species of fish to increase the population in water. Then population control. This is the use of other fish types like catfish to eat up types like tilapia, so that you don't have overpopulation. We can use other fish to eat another fish type, or we harvest early. You do early harvest so that you don't have overpopulation in the water. Then another regulation is that you don't use explosive to harvest. It's poisonous. Then you don't use chemicals or other poisonous materials too. It is harmful to the health of people that will eat those fishes, and even to the fishes themselves. Another one is what we call landing tax. When you catch fish, so the total catch, the number, that is the number of fish you catch, then the size of the fish you catch will be taxed. You have to pay for them. Okay, per fish, per so kg type of fish, you pay so amount of money. So you don't just do things frivolously. That's what is called landing tax. Then there is what we call allocation of fishes. They allocate fishing areas to individual fishermen to curb indiscriminate interference within large fishing area. So they say, okay, fisherman so and so, this is your portion. So you don't just go beyond that. That is what allocation of fishing area is. Then the breeding section of water should be identified to restrict fishing in that section. We have a section called the breeding section, where young ones are being raised. Young fishes are raised, the eggs are being hatched into fingerlings. So you don't go there. So there is a restriction that you identify that, oh, this is a no-go area. Then certification for consumption. This is that, okay, you have a license that this fisherman is carrying is safe for public consumption. That he has not gone to carry poisonous fishes to come and sell. No. So that is why there has to be certificate of consumption that each company or individuals that are doing fishing in the water areas are given. So you can be rest assured that the fish this person is selling for the public is safe for human consumption. Then another regulation is that killing of endangered species is prohibited. I mentioned extinction earlier. When you know that, okay, for instance, let's assume that we have just in the whole of Nigeria, we have 15 cows both in the north, south, west, in every part of Nigeria. We are just left with 15 cows. Do you think the government will just look at you and one day somebody just go there and catch 3? That is another reduction. So when we have endangered species that we have, that is limited number of species available, you don't kill such, you don't touch it, you don't harvest such. So that is what is called endangered species, prohibition of killing of endangered species. Then there is a ban, you don't do electrofishing, it's also not safe. So these are the rules and regulations for fishing. Now we move on to talk about fishing tools. The first type of tool that we're talking about is the nets, and we have various types of nets. We have the scoop net. The scoop net is a net that has a rectangular or cylindrical shape with regulated mesh size, like a scooping bowl. It has an handle, it has nets attached to it, so like just put it, you hold the handle, you put it in water, then you catch fish. But this scoop net is used after the pond has been drained. So you just put it, you catch your fish, bring them out. That's what a scoop net is. Then we have gill nets. Gill net is used to harvest big fishes or bigger fish in the pond. And why it is called gill net is because the fish pokes its head